Right, the great Muhammad Ali's grandson has recently turned pro in MMA. You know that if he can just string together a few wins, he's going to end up in the UFC. You think old Danny Kanks ain't going to snap up that little storyline? He'd be all over it, like Pat Barry at a dance recital. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know. His name is Biaggio Ali Walsh, and he's currently signed with the PFL. Biaggio. It's a funny one, isn't it? His pro debut was in that Bellator vs PFL event recently, you might remember. In that fight, he showed he wasn't a one-trick pony and had some promising grappling, getting the dominant decision. After that fight, he said he thought it was boring and he wanted to strike more. And he's literally just fought this last weekend and secured a brilliant first-round knockout. So he's now already 2-0 as a pro, and he's 7-1 as an amateur, with his only loss actually being his first amateur fight. Originally, he started off playing American football at high school. Apparently, he was talented at it, but the interest just fizzled out, and after high school, he dedicated himself solely to MMA, which he'd been training in since he was little. Interestingly, he's currently training at Extreme Couture, with the likes of Sean Strickland and Francis Ngannou, but also it's one of those gyms where all sorts of fighters are continuously coming through, so he'll be getting loads of good work in. The coach there is Eric Nixing, who's one of the most talented coaches currently in MMA, so it's a great sign for his future. Now obviously, with his grandpappy floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee, the media are all excited about him. It would be easy for him to disappear up his own arsehole like Izzy, but in interviews he seems to not be letting it get the better of him. He's got a calm and respectful demeanour, which is obviously in contrast to his granddad, who was the pioneer of today's style of shit-talking. So with the media-friendly personality and the famous family tree, it's all there to play for. All Biaggio's got to do now is just keep winning. Go and watch him fight, and it's clear that he's got loads of potential. He's got great striking, with really nice aggressive snappy attacks. His defence is sloppier than how Nina Drama got her job, and there's definitely room for some improvement. But he's only had one pro fight, so you can't judge him too harshly. Now before we all get too overexcited, like John Jones in an all-male steam room, let's think about how his career is looking when compared to some other well-known fighters when they were at the same point in their careers. Sugar Sean O'Valion was 5-1 as an amateur before turning pro. He also got a generous route to the title, which you would expect Muhammad Ali's grandson would get. Paddy was 4-0 as an amateur before turning pro. Again, another one that was given the VIP treatment from Big D. Paddy in particular shows how much bang for their buck Dana & Co can squeeze out of a flawed fighter with a gimmick if they choose to. It's worth mentioning also, Biaggio's amateur career was with the PFL amateur scene, so while I'm sure his opponents have been carefully managed, he will have been fighting real opponents, unlike some foreign fighters that build up their early experience fighting proper bums. But comparing him to some more current prospects, Peyton Tolbert is one of the hottest prospects right now. It seems inevitable that he's going to be a champion one day. He had a 6-0 amateur record before turning pro. Both Tolbert and Biaggio showing dominance and strong ability to finish fights when they were in the amateur scene. And then you've got Bo Nickel, another one that seems destined to be a champion, although he does seem to be pissing away his prime. I can't quite figure it out. He seems to have one dominant win, come out of it completely uninjured, and then have almost a year off until he fights again. I don't understand how that can be a good move. It's such a shame though, as he's fun to watch, but also we want him to get up there in the rankings so we can start fighting some more known fighters. But Bo is also an extremely high level specialist, which makes him a bit of a different bag. So it's all there for Biaggio. The UFC is just around the corner. Like Pat Barry picking up Rose from school. All he's got to do is just keep winning. I reckon 3 or 4 more wins at the PFL and Dana's going to come knocking. And when you consider that he's training in Extreme Couture, it's very likely that he'll manage to keep improving enough to stay on that wave. I hope so. It'll be fun to watch. Anyway, if you like this video, give us a sub, check out this playlist of recent bangers. I'll see you next time.